Welcome to VibeCheck, where we check the vibe of the people in the theatre industry using our mutual love of music. I'm introducing the guy on my left, artistic director of New Theatre. And model scouts, if you're trying to scout my man, don't, because he's got 15 cards in his drawer and he's not going to call you back. We're going to talking about Ben Quashie.
Hello, thank you very much. The card thing is true. We've got our other co-host, Aruna Jalla. You know, once upon a time, he thought he could have half a pint of straight rum, but disappeared over the toilet for 40 minutes. So that's Aruna for you.
Nah, the disrespect.
Wow. Alright, say no more. It is what it is, isn't it?
Sorry.
It's okay. All right.
Wow.
Introducing Kai Shaw, actor, lamppost head, like I said before, needs a trim.
You're using the same one.
I am. And it's bad,
It's
isn't
quarantine. Everybody needs a trim.
I know. This is bad, innit? That was poor. Do you know what it is? You hooked me, Ben. And I wasn't expecting that. You got me.
Caught you off guard. Don't worry. Get wrapped on the next one.
Alright, cool.
And we're joined by a very, very special guest. This man is the most recent JMK Award winner. Yeah, for his play, Little Baby
Come
Jesus.
Come
which
on.
some people might have been in, some people might not. I don't know. Check the
I
CVs.
don't know.
Was also director and star in Sweet Like Chocolate Boy. Has worked at the Roundhouse. Has also worked on plays such as The Brothers' Size at the Young Vic. I am, of course, talking about Tristan Fynn-Aiduenu, my guy.
Hey. Hi.
How you doing, Tristan? You good?
I'm alive, innit?
Big moods.
Massive.
I'm
What are you
alive.
feeling, man?
That's a huge thing right now. So
We are moving.
Oh, yo.
So to start off, we send all our guests we ask them to send us their most recently listened to song.
Mm-hmm.
And Tristan's submission was Murder Music by Mikel Ameen. I like it, you know. He's saying some stuff on the song. It reminded me a lot of there's a song called Trap or Lie by what's his name, Melvillous. Very similar style, very similar topic and delivery, but yeah, I'm about it. Like, I don't think it's going to be in my regular rotation. But what's this artist? Who is this artist for you? What's this song for you, Tristan? Is it just something that popped up, or?
So Mikel is in like circles that I'm in, especially he's a good friend of someone that I'm worked with called DK Fashola from Initiative DKF. And Mikel is pretty, I see him as pretty much self-made. He comes from a big family though. If you know Mikel Ameen, you might know Emil Ameen, the actor. The reason why I chose this song, and I've just been listening to this song a lot, it reminds me of when I was outside.
Triggering.
It reminds me when I'm outside. And I don't know if it happens to everybody else, but there's certain songs that when you're outside and you're walking, it changes your walk.
Mm-hmm. I know exactly what you're talking
This
about.
song changes my walk a lot. And it's the bass. It's so authentically Black British.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And it's the samples it uses, it's the saxophone it uses. It's just the mixture of things that it kind of feels like me. It kind of feels like me about who I am as an artist at the moment right now. It's just so heavy that when I start walking, like I feel, am I crumping as I'm walking? Like I don't even know.
Full depth compressions, you know.
Like I'm doing awful. and it's also such a deep song that wants to talk about like what really happens to some people on ends. It's only one story. It's only ever one story, but it is a story of truth. And there's something about it that just reconnects me with being Black, being British, and being from ends, and also serving where I can with my art.
Is that something you do quite a lot with the work you make in theatre, in the sense of like pushing the story outwards and bringing it back as well, like bringing it back to the, as Wiley would say, bringing it back to the village?
I'd like to hope I kind of do that. To be honest, I don't know if I do. I've during quarantine, in particular, I feel like I've had to let go of knowing whether I do or don't, because I know it does. I know it sounds like a very weird thing, but I already know it does. I already know that if I'm tapping into the thing in me that is true, the spirit in me that is true, and connecting with I want to do something bigger, something better, and something that has a innate sense on want to help. I'm already feeding somebody in the village, and at least feeding one person in the village will feed somebody else in the village, and it will just go on and on and on and on and on. So with my work, yes, I want to smash your imaginations. I want to smash I want to smash it. I want you to feed it. I want to feed your imaginations. I want it to go into orbit, and I want to bring it back to the people, but I'm not going to be concerned as to how many people it gets to, because I know it will get to somebody.
That's big.
Amazing.
That's your.
Well, we have come to the song selection section, as I like to call it. This is the part of the show where we ask our guest to choose one of 9 questions and answer one of the questions with a piece of music. So the first piece of music, I said 3.
No, you said 1.
Anyway,
carry on.
Well,
where we have the first song we have is "Sweet Like Chocolate" by Shanks and Bigfoot, and this is the part of the show where we guess. So I feel like this is your theme song, personally. I don't know about the rest of y'all.
I'm gonna say, because I know you've got a your play is "Sweet Like Chocolate Boy," so I'm gonna say this is a song that helped you creatively.
Ooh. I had theme song. No, Bunny. I trust theme song because that was my first instinct. So that was yeah.
This is the easiest one because it is my theme song, innit? Like,
you know what? Yeah, I've got one of these out of all of the ones we've done. I'm fuming.
Yeah, it's the easiest one. Like, because if you know me, you know that I said when I get married, that's what I'm walking down the aisle to. When or whoever I'm marrying is walking down the aisle to, that's it. When I die, that's what you're playing at my funeral. When I have my children, every single one of them will hear that song. It is. It just is. I don't know what else to say. It just is. I guess that song always reminds me, and I can see why you would say that, Ben, because it also reminds me of thinking that the estates were castles back in the day. Yeah, and there's something about 1999, because that was 1999, 2000, I believe. But there's something about 1999 that I hold very dear to me. At one stage, I thought obviously the world was going to end, so I got really upset. But also, I feel like there were so many things that were really beautiful of that time, like PlayStation. School was actually fun for a little bit. Wow. Culture, music, we're entering into a new millennium, we're entering into a new time, and also the song itself. I've never taken it as just a romantic song. I've always taken it as a song that is about loving yourself. And someone telling you to love yourself. I don't know why. Even from when I very first heard it, I was like, this is more than romance to me. I don't know why. But as time has gone on, I've also felt like the song and why it turned into a play reminds me of being consumed. Reminds me of being a black person that's consumed in this world, and your source or your sauciness, your everything is just every somebody's always trying to take a little bit of something, and we need to be wary of that.
Yeah. We were speaking about that earlier, weren't we? About sort of culture being a double-edged sword, particularly for black artists, in that like the more we push it, the more we ourselves are celebrated, but also the more likely it is to get co-opted, taken, shifted, distorted into something that's different. Like, what's been your personal experience of that as well as time has gone on? Not just in the theatre industry as well, but like in the creative industry as a whole.
I won't. So the thing is, I'm from Ends, but I'm not I didn't always necessarily connect with Ends. Everybody told me that I couldn't because I speak well. And I'm smart at school, and I actually want to finish school. So obviously, I can't be from Ends. So my connection with that and the culture of Ends and it being taken from me has always been a very weird thing because I've been conditioned early to not feel like it's mine. That that I am not to have any connection with it because I do not outwardly exuberate how it has made me, but it has. And that's from a range of different people. And it's not just from the white patriarchy sometimes, even though I know the white patriarchy is the shower that goes down. It's from many different people in my life, really. So it's because of theatre. It's because of theatre that I'm now able to really, like, not prove, but I'm trying to find a word. It's like I can via theatre I can let you know that just because I don't necessarily sound like I'm from Ends, it doesn't mean that hasn't made me and I don't care about it. And it's because of theatre that I'm also beginning to see how many of these stories about people from Ends or about my culture, especially as a British Ghanaian, or all the different intersectional facets of me have been taken, have been commoditized. Modernized, that the word? I don't know, but like it's been chewed, man. It's been chewed. That's the thing. It's been chewed. Like it's been chewed and it's been spat out and it's been. Are children watching this? Because I was about to swear.
Oh, you can swear. That's fine.
Okay, it's been wanked over. It has been like it has been so washed from us. So I can see it because of my involvement in theatre and not shutting away because I felt like, oh, I'm not allowed to be from Ends because I don't speak like it.
I think growing up in Ends around sides is more than just being roadman. Like, I was never roadman, but I went Harris South Norwood. I grew up in South Norwood. My road was on the same road in Tennyson Park. Like, people getting stabbed around there consistently, but I wasn't on road. Like, I was never that guy. But when it's part of your existence and it's around you all the time, of course it's part of your growing up. It's the environmental part of your development as a young person, and it just makes you wiser to certain scenarios. Like, I think if you were to go and chuck me into some higher class dinner with a bunch of like super rich, super like whatever people, I'd have my ideas about how I'd act in that scenario, but it's not going to be the social decorum or what's expected of me in that scenario. But it's the same as the reverse. Like, you take those people down to Ends and they don't understand the social cues or how things work, and so even though I'm not in the extreme part of what being on Ends is, you still have an understanding about what that environment is, and it's part of you as a person that can never be removed. There's so much more to it than just banging gun doing drill music.
So true. It's weird though. When I went into like drama school at Rose Bruford, that's when I started to actually realize I come from the hood. I never felt like that growing up. Because, you know, your environment's your environment. We do hood rat shit, if you want to call it that. Like, you know what I mean? We just do what we do. I'm not a roadman, nowhere near that, but I know those people. But I didn't see that as anything because I was everyday living. It wasn't until I was just outside of that in Sidcup, like, 30 minutes away. That's when I started to actually deep, like, oh, like, this is actually who I am and this is how I talk. Because it was weird, like, on Ends, people say that I speak well. But then when I was in Sidcup, people started to say, oh, I don't understand what you're saying. I'm like, what are you talking about? People told me I speak. Like that weird identification, and it comes to that realization. It's like, oh, this is actually where I've grown up. like what they be watching on TV screens about Top Boy. Like I'm around those people. Yeah. So
And just on that, can I just like get on that, because I was having a talk with just before this. I was having a talk with a friend about MLE,
Mm-hmm.
the MLE accent,
Mhm.
and how that is now is it a dialect on Spotlight? What
Yeah,
is
it's
it?
dialect.
What
yeah,
is
they
it?
made it a dialect.
I did my
What the hell
I
is
did my
it?
dissertation on this, so I've had to actually look into it, bro.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And I was talking about how, like, especially for like doing a show Little Baby Jesus and stuff like that,
Mm.
and why we picked you, Kai, was because the directors that were there with me as well taught me that there was like 3 levels of like what they would call outside like youth culture, whatever thing, but when it's portrayed on stage, it's like 3 levels.
Mm.
But explain. Let me explain.
Okay.
There's the actors that think that being street is what it is to live on ends and portray ends in on stage or on film and stuff like that. So they do the Jack the Lads, they do the sort of smirks and stuff, and they've got a buoyancy, but at the core of them, there isn't a want to truly connect with the story and the characters or anything. It's just to be able to portray, to convince you that I am part of that world. And that is so clear.
Mm-hmm.
It's so bait when it's like you don't know what the hell you're talking about, but it's cool. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. Like you and those people, unfortunately, didn't get further in the project for Little Bit of Jesus, because Arinze's play needs people that are from ends, and that's the second level. There are people that are from ends. No, you may not be necessarily on road as such, but you're around people that do, and you're not afraid, nor do you block the fact that the ends kind of made you. Not all of you, no, but it was a very strong part of you. And in the portrayal of the characters that you want to do on stage that are from ends, you always want to pay homage to them. Do you know what I mean? In your mere embodying of that character, it's like, this is somebody that I know, so I'm gonna pay homage to my environment where I came from, and you can tell that. Do you know what I mean? And then you've got the people that are from road. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Yeah. And she told me, this is from Nadine Woodley, who's an amazing director. She told me that from road means, no, I live this life. No, I actually live this life. That's it. There's no like I'm living in it right now. Like there's no acting to me, because this is life. This is just it. That's just it. It is so interesting how many agents and how many people suggested people to do this, because it said on the casting call to do an MLE accent, and we got so many people that was street level, the surface level, who can play street. Very few that were like from ends, and little next to like maybe like one person that was from road. One, maybe even two, and the other person actually was Anyebe, who was also in the play.
Yeah, it's true.
Because he's from road.
He is
Do you know
from
what I mean? Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Shout out to Anyebe, though.
Shout out to him, fam.
Like,
Shout out to Yebs.
and the reason why I think about it in terms of like this is because I wonder now that apparently like they're now teaching, and me and my friend were talking about, they're now teaching MLE in schools and in the drama schools and stuff, and I'm like, how? Yeah.
It's a tricky one.
Just how is this for us? Is it really beneficial? Now we've got people that can really portray, well, not portray, they can never really portray, but they can convince those white casting directors out there and those yuppies out there that they're from ends. Meanwhile, when they finish, I wash my hands. Do you know what I mean?
But you could say the same about learning any accent, though. Like when you go to drama school, you're learning pages and pages of different accents. Like you see people who come out, they've got like 12 different accents, this and that, but like, you're like, okay, cool. If you've got someone that looks slightly ethnically ambiguous and they're playing Armenian, obviously you'd rather have more time. Most likely, you'd rather have an actual Armenian actor playing that. But it's the same for every accent. So like, obviously, you'd rather have someone that is from ends doing an MLE accent, but you can't say that no, you can't learn the accent. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I'm not saying that you can't
Yeah.
not learn the accent, but I think what I'm trying to say is that it shows it when
Yeah, I know what
when
you
you've
mean.
got people like casting directors from ends or like, because we now have more casting directors from ends, academic people from ends, it will show, like, you can't lie anymore. And the core, what I'm trying to say is the core of being someone that from ends is that you always want to pay true homage to what you've known and what you've seen and what has made you, rather than just playing a part.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that always comes through. Yes, you can say the same things for other accents and other dialects, and that will come through too. I guess that's what I'm saying. And no, we can't always be lucky and get people from there. Sometimes you just got to pick the person from street. Do you know what I mean? Because time is time. But in the ideal world,
it's a bit of a situation getting a proper road man on set. That might throw up some issues in rehearsals.
You'd be surprised, you know. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. Some of them are like really nice, you know.
Yeah, of course.
You know, they maybe had a little bit of a.
But then when it gets nicked halfway through production, I mean, you've got an issue on your hands then. Okay, so we ask all our guests to send in answers to 9 songs. 9 songs. Let's start that whole sentence again. Have we? What? No. What? Who?
Yeah, we just went on a massive tangent, but we said this. Like, we did Sweet Like Chocolate, remember?
Of course. Yeah. I'm not professional. I'm not on job. Listen,
the second song that was a massive tangent, though. But the second song is you sent it was Rain. Initially, that song's by SWV, but this version you sent was the Sunday Service Choir, Kanye West Sunday Service Choir. I'm gonna say that this is a song that reminds me of your last production.
I'm going to say the same thing because I saw a little Twitter thread and that swayed my jump. I remember. Anyway, yeah.
A song that inspires you.
Because it's a combination of two. Yes, it does remind me of my last production. Yes, you can have that one. But it's also my song for the shower.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah. Listen,
I should have got both.
It's coming down. Listen, but I chose Sunday Service Choir version because I was like, oh, it's all the little water droplets singing at the same time. I'm just like, oh, like, yeah, and it's spiritual, man. I'm a spiritual person, and that particular version of it, I'm just like, nah, my spirit raises. My spirit's raising in the bar.
I do really love what Sunday Service Choirs have done with all the covers of the song. Part of me feels conflicted in a certain way. I think it's just because of the association with Kanye West, but it shouldn't do that because I still like Kanye West's music. I don't know, there's something that doesn't sit right with me in it. But like all of the songs on that specific album, like it's, for me, that's peak gospel music. Like that is the stuff that I love. Like the up tempo, multiple parts. Like you can hear all the individual people in the choir. Oh, it just slaps.
Exactly.
It slaps.
It's a proper choir. It's not just everybody singing at the same time and then finish. It's like, you know what I mean? There's levels. You can hear the sopranos, you can hear the alto, you can hear all of them things. And it's, as you said, it's up tempo. It's also modern. It feels modern. It's like of a gospel choir of now, that responding to all the music of now and using it to praise God. Like I just think it's incredible.
Who would have thought? Yeah, we're gonna bang some samples into this gospel tune. That's wild. What?
That's how you know Kanye is. Yeah, that man loves sampling, which is why like he adores sampling, because that's how I knew it was 100% his choir. But you're right though. Like I know those of you that saw Little Baby Jesus, you will know why it reminds Tristan of the shower, because it was used in the shower scene.
Oh, was it? Oh, I didn't even draw that connection.
I didn't even draw that.
Yeah, man. What a fun ride that was.
Is that how that link was born then? So you were just banging it in the shower and you thought, yeah, we'll just chuck it in the scene.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I remember the day that you said it. So I was laughing.
Yeah, man. Listen, that's the original by SWV. Listen, when do you hear vocals like that no more? You don't. I've asked my own question. You don't hear vocals like that no more. Like what happened to groups of people singing?
I was just going to say that. Like, the death of the girl group is a very interesting thing, you know.
Yeah.
I can't think of no girl group right now that's out. Well, no.
What happened?
I don't know.
Tell me.
I think because music, we were speaking about this earlier. Music has become something that is not just about the music anymore. It's about identity, and it's hard to project identity in a group. Like the only people that are doing that at the moment are K-pop, because that's a very isolated genre in itself, and that relies on the group mechanism. Whereas, like, if you looked at the UK group stuff, the only ones I can think of recently would be people like what's it, Fifth Harmony, and what's the other one? These people that come out of X Factor and them ones. Those are only girl groups, and then that's it. And then they end up splitting up, and that's normally because of and they'll go and do on their own solo thing, and normally their solo thing is better than the thing they were doing in the group because they can project their personality on top of it. I don't believe that personality should have a thing to do with the music. I think it should all be about the music, but because of how the industry works nowadays, in the sense that you have streaming and you have to have an online presence, you need to be active on Twitter and Instagram and doing all this stuff, they are starting to become more hand in hand.
It's funny though, because arguably like someone like, or a group like Destiny's Child had personality and identity individually and were able to function as a group, or like TLC. And I just feel like, what was this? What was the formula? Do we need to recreate it? I don't even know.
I just don't think it works in today's music consumption.
Yeah, I think it's down to that. I think it's the consumption of it, innit? Because I think people like the idea of being immersed in a world. Well, I just say we're intrusive as people, as consumers now. Like, we are inner. So I think with Destiny's Child, they didn't have the internet like we have it now. So when it comes to consuming the music, you'll get that CD, and then that's that. Do you know what I mean? And you catch them on like Kiss or MTV, and then that's what that is. Now it's streaming, it's everything else. It's like, what are you saying on Twitter? When can I cancel you? When can we accept you? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what...
Imagine straight to the cancel culture. Arena's got a vendetta against people.
I love that.
I said, who are you?
Can I cancel you, please?
Another name for the list.
I am.
But that's it. That's what we live in now. So I feel like, it takes away from a lot. That's why I even question K-pop. Because K-pop, like, the archetypes of characters, like, I was watching, it's on Netflix, Explained, innit? They were talking about the setup of K-pop. So basically, like, they loved hip-hop and then they moved out into that. And, like, because of the way the politics ran, everyone was homogenous in terms of artistic styles. Like, they couldn't speak about too much. So what they did, they started, there was this group, they came up and then they did it. Like, I forgot their names, but they were the first K-pop group. Then what's developed now is that they've used archetypes, the good-looking guy, or the kind of like, in the back person, kind of cool and mysterious, I want to know him, or, you know what I mean? You've got all of these different characters, and now they have schools where they say you have to fit this, you have to fit this, you have to fit that, you have to fit this. So I would even say it's as authentic as Destiny Child, where you was actually getting like a bit of who they were. Even with being controlled, and there's still that element to it. But K-pop is mad because all of them are the same.
The scene over there is just crazy because they're global and it's growing so quickly. But like you're saying, it's almost bordering on not so much an artistic endeavor anymore, kind of just like a people factory. Like you send people to school, you send people to K-pop camp, and they learn how to be like it's a hugely desired career over there, and they do just want to work to that exact formula that seems to be working now. So I think in a few years it will peak out because there's no innovation. But then again, South Korea is popping just in every aspect of what they're doing economically,
just on that,
socially. Yeah.
Let me ask you, because I feel really old now. What is it that on every Twitter thread somebody puts a K-pop video on? What is that? What's going on?
That's the K-pop fandom, bro. This is what I'm saying. These lot are militant. They're militant.
We were talking about this literally like yesterday or the day before.
I don't understand it.
No, I was not. I was on the phone to someone talking about this last night. I don't get it either, personally. And they're doing this thing as well, where like they're doing like blah 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 is over party, and like the hashtag is just K-pop videos, and it's not about the
I
person.
don't get it.
It gets the views up.
We could be
So
talking.
you'll see like random things trending that will get people clicking. So it might be like Beyonce is over or Miley Cyrus is cancelled. And so they'll click on that, and then it's just a bunch of K-pop fans
K-pop videos
banging the new K-pop video. And to be honest, I think it's awful because sometimes I've seen them on like bad, like real world scenarios. Like it'll be like a school shooting, and then they'll be dropping K-pop videos underneath it, and like that's not on. That's not on.
I was like, I'm watching a fire burning. I'm watching a building burning, and someone pops, ding, 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 ding. Like I'm so confused. Like genuinely, it's making me think. What? Anyway, that's a whole nother topic. But like, what is this social media thing in connection to stanning? Like, what is this stanning culture? What is this music culture? And how does that like? I'm genuinely, as much as I make a joke about it, I'm genuinely very worried. Like, genuinely very worried about.
I want to hear the joke. But I'm not going to push you to do the joke. But yeah.
The third and final song for this section is "Slow Jams" by Twista and Kanye West. This is the one that really got me because I don't know what this is. A part of me would really like to say that it's the song that you could do for your life, but I don't know if that's it.
That's what I'm saying as well. I want to see it happen.
In fact, you know what? I'm going to say that because I really want to see it happen.
I'm saying because it's the Twista thing. You know when someone can do the Twista verse, they're like, yeah, I can do the Twista verse. They want to show that off.
Because
so that's what I'm saying.
The Twista verse. Go on, Aruna. What's yours? What are you saying?
No, I'm going to say that right now. That's why I'm listening. I'm just always, I'm just...
All right, come on, Tristan.
So, I think one of your questions was the song that kind of started off my creative career.
Okay. I really wanted to hear you spit that Twista verse.
I am not even going to do that. You better forget it. I'm not going to attempt to do that. Do you know what it was? I was in a musical, like my first ever like proper theatre thing ever, at like 40 and something like that, at the Oval House, which is now Brixton House.
Hey.
And they were doing like a summer school where we had to do a like theatrical version of The Labyrinth by Jim Henson. And I played the character Jareth, who was like the Goblin King. And during that summer school, I don't even know what it was, but I caught the bug. But the bug was not just acting. The bug was, I wonder if we could redesign the costumes. I think, what if she wore like Batty Riders instead of a dress? Like, what would that mean? Like, what if we changed the music to like R&B and then we sung the song, but on top of this particular song? And at the time, I was just consistently listening to slow jams. Like, there was an instrumental version of slow jams that was like fully like sax and stuff. And I was just like, oh my gosh, let me start writing lyrics to it. And I was showing it off. And that's when like the people around me, especially the director at the time, which was Nikolai Labari, who's now at the Lyric Hammersmith, that's when the people around me could see like, okay, Tristan's not just an actor at all. And I could see like, I don't think I just want to act. But I didn't really come to terms with that properly until like 2015, 2016. But yeah, so that's why I chose that song.
That's it. I was going to ask you actually. I mean, we've spoken about this before between us, but like, how important was local theatre, particularly the Oval House, to your development into the creative that you are today?
It was pivotal. Like, hands down, it was absolutely pivotal. I don't know. I probably would be here. I don't really always think about what if, but I can say it was pivotal because first and foremost, it took me out of my shell. I was, believe it or not, I was incredibly quiet when I was in primary school and like early secondary school, and then I did that drama project, and that was it. I just couldn't stop talking. I also couldn't stop like beating people up and like putting them in headlocks and stuff. Like, I don't know where that aggressiveness came from, but it was just like, I think I'd been holding it down for so long that I was just like, ugh! Like, I you know what I mean? Like, it was just wild. But but first and foremost, and it's interesting you asked me that question because like a few years back, I also started to do facilitating myself, and I grew up in the Oval House that it was like it's about being a professional artist and learning to produce your own work, create own work, get your voice heard, stuff like that, which I hold so damn dearly. That's mainly who I am. A lot of the skills I've transferred, but I also forgot that before I could even get to that stage, I needed this stage of coming out of my shell. And Oval House allowed me to do that. Local drama groups allow people to do that, and drama in general, the whole function, the subject, the exposing yourself to drama allows you to do that in a way, and I treasure that, and I think I'm worried about where we're going, especially in drama in schools. I'm worried about if it's gonna stay. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna stay. I don't think it's gonna stay. It's still seen as a subject. I'm worried about the way our parents and stuff see it. Even though I do believe it's changing a little bit because we're seeing more and more of us on screens, behind screens, on stage, behind stage, and many different other facets of the creative industry. But I just wish the change was a bit more. I'm worried about. I'm worried about. I feel like there's been a decline of youth theatre. If that's a weird thing to say, I feel like there's a decline. I mean, I know we've got the stuff like Royal Court, and we've got stuff from the Bush Theatre, and we've got Theatre Royal Stratford East and all these places. But I feel like there's a decline of youth theatre that wants a really deep, impactful change outside of these places.
It's going to be really interesting over the next 10 to 15 years because of the new Arts Council strategy and how important participation is in that strategy. So essentially, to have national portfolio funding, you have to be engaging, do some sort of participatory work, whether that's with your community or with elderly people or something. You have to do it, and I think that's going to go one of two ways depending on what the theatre is. It's going to go in one way in the sense that, cool, here's this big project and we don't really care, we're just doing it because we have to, and then that's cool, that's done, whatever. And then you're going to see people actually, it's going to bolster stuff they're doing already but allow them to do more of it as well and more high quality work, and that's great. It's the other side of it where they're just doing it because it's a check marks. That's where it gets concerning because that will be a lot of people's first experience of doing theatre, and if it's not high quality and they don't have a good time, that's turning them off. Like my first introduction to proper theatre was when I went to Brit School. That's year 10. If I didn't do that, I would be an architect at the moment or training to be an architect. That's what I was doing beforehand, and I would be a very different person. And if you don't grab people in that time, make it good and enjoyable and have fun while still learning and getting that sense of professionalism, that's essentially someone who could have been, and I'm not calling myself an amazing artist, but there's so much talent there that could potentially just be lost because it's not been exposed to in the correct way.
I 100% agree. And unfortunately, I think what this quarantine time has shown is maybe more so in terms of the arguments on diversity and that D word that I just think means shit. But the fact that when push comes to shove, we're not in the forefront of their minds, because we also got to remember that a lot of these kids, especially in the inner city areas anyway, I think a lot of these kids that come into them are kids that are not white, and we are not in the forefront of their minds in that way, and we're not in the forefront of a lot of these places' minds. I mean, I remember back in the day as well. After that, did we start to have like an influx of like your own little youth theatre? So you had real drama, you had faith drama, you had I'm trying to think about this. There were so many others. Then you had Young and Talented, and then that started coming up, and then now that sort of kind of died down again. I mean, people are still making their own theatre companies, but I'm wondering about the want, the true intrinsic want to connect with the community and then do something that is artistically exciting, expressing with that community, not for it. And I don't think a lot of people want to do that.
Oh no, definitely not. Like I think with new theatre, there's a lot of companies that kind of consider themselves as peers. But you see so many theatre companies that start off and it's just because you've got a couple of people that want to do an artistic endeavour and they're like, fuck it, we'll do it ourselves. But then once they actually go and get something large and that theatre company's died dead, you never see it again. Like over the past few years, I've set up new theatre to be larger than me. Like obviously when it started off when we were called the Weisenberg, that was 100%. It was a way for the six of us to be like, yeah, cool, we're just going to keep making work. But now it's so much more than that. We make work with, for, and by young people to give them that career jumpstart. Like that is what we're here for, and that is what we'll always serve. And that is more important than just like checking the audience engagement box on your Arts Council application.
Yes.
Wait,
An angel passes.
we got one more song.
Yes.
One more song. This was the last song that was picked by us, the presenters, to give on to our guests to kind of hear their thoughts on it. And the song this time was "Oh My Decide" by Travis Scott featuring Quavo. I picked the song this time, and for me, the reason I picked this song is that I think that auto-tune and mumble rap and that aspect of where hip hop has gone lately gets a lot of shtick, and for most of it, I agree. But there are some people that use it in a way that, for me, does kind of begin to stretch that artistry. And I think that Travis Scott's one of those people, because for me, in this song, like, there is so much ambience, and so much space and atmosphere in both halves of the track that, like, my brain's like, I don't know, it feels like my brain's expanding as I'm listening to the song. And like, I think that that's why I love this song in particular of this album so much, is because within that space, there's so much depth to it, and you can kind of see different things and images and stuff. And like, 'cause it's so grimy and gritty as well, like the kind of deep, like dark synths and stuff that, like, I feel like at one point I'm in an alleyway, then I feel like I'm in like a really raunchy, like, I don't know, like college house party or something, and then there's someone doing a madness there in the kitchen, and you've like stumbled in half drunk and you've fallen over, and next thing you know, like the second half of the song kicks in and it's like 6 a.m. and you've woken up and you're like, where am I? There's cups everywhere on the floor. You've woken up, to your left is a pile of sick, to your left is some random person you don't know. You're like, all right, well, what's going on? Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I think that the imagery of it and the spacing of it just makes me feel like there is hope. Do you know what I mean? There is hope in a lot of the mumbly nonsense that we have out today.
See, for me, I don't get any of that. I didn't like it. I thought it was a bit dead. Travis Scott's first verse on it is probably the best thing. The whole production of it, I was not a fan. Maybe I need to go back and listen, because like what you said about the dark synths and the imagery, I didn't pick up on that. But like Travis Scott's got some couple good songs for me. Like he's got Sicko Mode and he's got Highest in the Room, which are like, I think those are more universal things. But this song is not something I will listen to again in my own time. I can see myself getting lit to it in a club. Like if it comes on in the club and the energy takes you in that direction, then yeah, cool. But I'm not running to that dance floor to like knowing this is a vibe. So like
running to the dance floor.
Listen, you know, no, come on. You know when your song comes on in the club and you're beelining because this is the one. This will never be that song. I don't see it being anyone's song like that.
I'm laughing because that's me. I'm sorry. That's what I'm laughing. That's me. I run to the dance floor. So.
You gotta do it. I respect it.
Tristan. There are a lot of songs that I've heard that I've seen you do the same thing.
yeah. That's just me. The song, I'm never gonna like mumble rap. I'm just never gonna be able to like it, because I need lyrics. I need to hear what you're saying. I think it's because I'm in theatre now, so I was like, if I can't hear you, why are you there?
Projection.
Can you imagine?
However, I do feel that there's something about the production that, listen to what you said about it. Like at first I listened to it on my computer and I was like, okay. And then I put my headphones in. And it's when I put my headphones in, I was like, oh, this is, where am I?
Bring it back.
yeah. Like, is this Earth? I'm floating. Like literally, it was, and I feel like this is an interesting generation of production.
Yes.
Story told via production
Yeah.
rather than lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
Which also links into why I think like there's this big thing on Twitter, I'm sure you guys have seen, about who should be playing like the muses for the new Hercules movie.
Mm-hmm.
I tweeted out Scarlett Johansson. That's my contribution.
Yeah, I didn't think about it. I was like, well done, because you know the truth.
She can pop up. You never know.
No, you know the truth. You know the truth. Someone said it's going to be Anne Hathaway or stuff like that. I was like, I'll actually slit my throat. Do you know what I mean? But I think the reason why people are saying like Lizzo and stuff like that is because those are the people of their generation.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people from our generation, or at least millennials that loved R&B music back in the day and stuff like that, feel like there's a real lack of vocalists out there. Lack of people that use either vocalists or lyricists or whatever. They use their voice is an instrument. It is not just a section. It is an instrument. It is as much the song as the, or even more so the song as the, more than the production value. Whereas with this generation now, and especially with this song, it kind of felt like there is a story told via production value. So the words no longer really mean as much. And it just made me think of, okay, this is really is the generation now. This is the trap and generation now. It's about production. It's about, and I do also feel like it might also be because back in the day we didn't respect production. We didn't respect people that made the song and the background stuff. It just always seen as background to this thing, the voice. So
it's so true what you're saying about vocalists. Like, as soon as you said vocalists, that's not a thing nowadays. I was trying to think who are current vocalists I can think of, and the first person that popped into mind was Adele. Like, she's someone that's inauthentically, she's like her voice, like that's everything. You don't need anything else on top of that. But I can't think of anyone who is like the ethnic version of Adele. Essentially, like I can't pick people in my head that are like, obviously this is the one, but obviously it's hard to compare that because you've got Adele's success and whatever. But
Jerome Thomas, he's from London, not famous. Go listen to Mood Swings. Yasmin Lacey, incredible vocalist as well. Like there are people out there that are just not known. I don't know, because everyone's attention is, like you're saying, is on mumble and all of this. But then I don't know how new like mumble really is, because when I think about scatting and then I think about Young Thug, I'm like, is that just an evolution of that? Is that where we're at? Like, because in their day and age, that just, how many people would have just said, yeah, that's just sounds. You're just making sounds over that. Like, that doesn't mean anything. But we look back at it now and we're like, no, that resonates. That's different. That's something James Brown will be doing. And we're like, yeah, that's one of the greatest artists alive. Is it the same thing with Young Thug, where he's just taking that further, where he's like, I don't need to be speaking words for you to resonate with what I'm saying. So are these artists now just challenging our perception of what we think music is in terms of the importance of words and how we resonate with songs? I think Travis Scott does that. I think Kid Cudi with his humming, that's really trance-like, like very trance-like. You can probably draw that frequency to a different tribe in an indigenous tribe somewhere that has been using those things. Like, like how we even warm up within theatre and those sounds. When we do that, we feel very good. There's a reason for that, and they have that. So, I don't know. I think maybe it's an evolution of scatting. I think it's just, different. They're tapping into something that's old, but in a new way in this time. So it feels new, and it feels new to us because we wasn't around when scatting was happening, really and truly. Yeah.
Arguably, though, I'd say scatting had more of a versatility of sound. And the way we change scale, you go from the highs to the lows to the, like, all of that. Whereas with mumble, it feels like a note that is drowsy. It creates an atmosphere of I'm so lit, do you know what I mean? But that's for me all it creates. That's all it wants to create, and that worries me. but then I drown out and listen to the production value. I'm like, okay, I like this. Do you know what I mean? I think Drake's Worst Behaviors. I actually really love the backing track. I don't even care about the words anymore. Like, I listen to the backing track and I'm just like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why I find it so amazing, but I think it's just because it's just so violent.
It is.
It's so
That's
violent.
exactly what I was gonna say.
It's so violent.
Yeah.
Also, can I just quickly say, I think, do you lot know Ella Aya?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Ella Aya is well, if we talk about vocalists, just in terms of tone and her tone of her voice, I think she's got a beautiful tone of voice. But she's someone that, I hope she doesn't hate me for this, but like, she's someone that I feel like is almost off in the wrong time. Because the power of her voice and the vocal versatility of her voice is being plonked on top of beats that kind of want to match it, or they never really do match it, and there's almost like it's too much. I don't know, she just popped into my head as you were talking, and
as you were just saying that, I've just thought Georgia Smith is probably the closest thing to Adele like that. Like, she is someone that can stand alone on her vocals, but I think her production value is something that is balanced, and she's chosen when to balance it well. I would argue that Georgia Smith is basically the next what's her name? What's her name? Amy Winehouse.
Oh no, please! I don't want that. Can you remove that from her life?
I think she's better. I think she's better than Amy Winehouse. That's my opinion. Yeah. Fight me. Aruna, hold me back. Nah, it's just...
No, I'm talking about the lifestyle. I'm like, remove that from Georgia's life. We don't want.
She's nothing like that. That's why I say she's better.
You still be voting?
Yeah.
No rehabs. Georgia can't be. Yeah, no rehabs.
I just think that, and a couple of men are gonna hate me for this, but I just think that I've heard 17 people that sing like Georgia Smith. Her tone.
Nah, her tone of voice. We're kicking you out the venue, mate.
Not necessarily think the beat is over, but I've heard a good 15 people that sound just like her. No cap. But that's the way it is. Not to say that she's bad. I think she can sing. I've just heard 15 people that sing exactly the same as me.
Lock it off.
But that happens every generation. Like, there will be one person that just has that sound, and then everybody's supposed to sound like her.
Of course it does. But then for me to be like, but even then I'm like, is she the best one of the people that sound like her? I don't know.
Yes. Oh my god.
I don't know.
I genuinely think Georgia Smith can sing. I can't even. She can sing.
She can sing. I just think that when you have multiple people that sound like you, in a sound that is at this point now kind of beginning to border on generic, I don't know if you are still the best one. Man. I can't hand on heart say she's the best one. I will hand on heart say she can sing though.
Do you know what? She just needs to drop another album. She needs to drop another project. She needs to spend some time. I just don't think she's got a large canon of work where we can see her growth. Like, fam, she's young. Like, she's literally just still like finding her way, like, and her music and consolidating that. I feel you though, Kai, because I agree with you now, but I feel like there's not enough time. I think there's just not enough work.
I think in another project we'll see what the development is.
Yeah.
But as of right now, I know a lot of people that sound like her. And I knew people that sounded like her before she was big. I think is my main issue with her.
I get that though. I can understand that.
Okay, I get that.
But hey,
yeah.
That's good as well.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Tristan, for coming on the show. Really, really appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, speak it.
Fair.
I know it's the end of the show, but Etta saying
what? You cut out. What do you say?
Etta saying.
Now say it with the accent and say it properly, yeah?
Wait, Etta saying. Wait, no.
Boko. There you go.
Okay, no, but you're disappointed at the same time, but love.
Right.
Ben, was that good? Was
Yeah,
that good
that
for
was
you?
good. No, I'm happy. We'll see you next time. Appreciate it.
In a bit, yeah.
I can't change my energy, can't fake it. When I'm with you, I feel I can fly. 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 Yeah. And if this goes and we fall into stasis, not rugby, you won't tackle my pride. Fat pride. What pride?